This is the $1 Million Mortgage Experience Podcast. I am your host, John Maddux. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the podcast. We are back with FundLoans 2.0. We're here with Alex Inda to talk to you about all the new products that we have and some stuff related to COVID. One thing I want to do is I'm very excited about the podcast. So what we're going to do is do a giveaway. We're going to either give away a tote bag here or one of our water bottles. But what you have to do, like, share, and subscribe, and comment below, letting us know which one you want, obviously, and then also what kind of questions you might have. If you have a question, ask it in the comments. We will talk about it in the next podcast or the next one after that. But great to see you again and look forward to many more of these. Thanks for watching. All right. Thanks for joining, everybody. Mortgage professionals, friends. We're glad to have you on. I'm going to dive right in here. As we know, it's June, was it today? June 3rd?
Yeah, June 3rd.
These days just sort of like kind of fly by, but also just, it's a crazy time that we're in. What are your thoughts on the new product? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's I personally think it came a little quicker than I expected. I think we expected maybe the delay to be a little bit longer. Right. Another thing I'm surprised about is the products that we are offering is touching a little bit of every non-QM kind of aspect that's out there.
Right.
It's not just business bank statements. It's not just personal. You could do both for the bank statement program. You could do 12 or 24 months.
Right.
A couple of years ago, it was just 24 months.
Right, and just personal, I think, too, right?
Exactly.
Then business finally came out, and it was like, yes, we can do business bank statements. And then it sort of evolved, but yeah, keep going. So you the mix of product and
mix of product came back strong. LTVs came back strong. Minimum FICO, 680. A lot of things were thrown around, maybe 700, 720. Just a lot of different aspects of the guidelines and the LTVs and the rates. The rates surprised me big time, probably more so than the other two guidelines of the matrices because they're so competitive. I mean, they're not where they were, in February, March, but they're definitely maybe in December and late November, those kind of rates. So.
Yeah. Talk to me about, I know you've been pricing in the last 2 or 3 days, pricing some loans. What are the rates that you've been throwing out there, roughly? And their par rates are close to par, I think the eighth cost or something, right? Yeah, so like 4.9, I quoted one today, this morning was at 4.99. Nice. That was a owner-occupied purchase, so that's pretty strong for we were looking at 75 LTV. Right.
The max rate for investment is 6.5, so you can't even go higher than 6.5, which if you were to ask last year, 2019, rates were in the 8s still, 7s to 8s. So you're talking about a revitalization of non-QM,
right? And
it's still ranging from 4.5 to 6.5.
Yeah, it's. I was surprised by the rates too when we got this product rolled out. Very, very cool. So I mean, that's one thing that I would say anyone listening, if they want to call and just dive into the rates right away, because you'd be surprised, right? You think people, I think, have seen kind of some of the competitors come out with some rates, and they're in the high 6s, 7s right now in NonQM 2.0, and we're very stoked to say that, like, literally we've come out with a product that you can be proud of selling, right? And you can be proud as a broker to offer it to your borrower. I think there's definitely prepayment penalties on the DSCR stuff, 2 and 3 year. But let's talk about the investment property product, the DSCR, because that product, from what I understand, when it went away completely and no one had it, it was like the one thing you would get calls on. I mean, because we didn't shut down during this whole time. It's been pretty slow as far as getting loans in because of that, because of what's going on. But talk to, like, what do you know? What are the top 3 things that you think are good about the DSCR product? A
common question I get with the DSCR product is, can you do cash out? Yeah. And our ability to do cash out is one of those that commonly surprises the brokers that call in, or my loan officers are like, hey, do you have a DSCR product? Yes. Can you do cash out? Yes. And I'm like, okay, great.
Can you go to 90 LTV?
No. But before you could only go to 70% cash out anyways, and now it's 60. So, I mean, is it going to take a month to get back to 65, 70? 2 months? People,
yeah.
people have to pay their rent nationwide. And I think once we get the numbers back from that, a lot of the metrics might change pretty drastically in a positive trend. But yeah, it's we could do purchase, refi, cash out, and the fact that we could do all three with some restrictions, but the fact that we do all three is very nice.
It's nice. It's huge. Yeah. So you were talking about people need to pay their rent. That is a huge question. I think that mortgage brokers and what we're dealing with, on the front lines, talking to people like, are they in forbearance? Are they in a deferment? Are they getting cash flow on their rental properties? Do you know, like on this new product, what the standard is or what we need? What's the requirement? Like VOEs, are they back to work? Will you go through that real quick, kind of what your thoughts are or what the restrictions are for that? Like if someone had a forbearance?
Yeah, I'll start with the DSCR product. For the forbearance aspect, if they were paying through their forbearance or if they're current, then they could, reapply or for a refi or purchase. If they're just coming out of the forbearance and they need to make 3 payments before they start the transaction, which
that's not bad because
exactly.
I can imagine, you haven't paid your mortgage for 3 months or for a few months and most people will be like, we need 12 months of payment history.
Right.
Perfect. So you're saying it's 3 months after they started making, so they need to make 3 payments consecutively.
Correct. Once
they're out of their forbearance. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and then you can start the next transaction. So, one thing for the DSCR product that the guidelines really point out is they give a lot of weight to the lease and whether you're collecting your rent for a purchase or refi. Obviously, as we were mentioning, if people weren't paying their rent, you're not getting that revenue, which makes perfect sense for this time.
Right.
Is this going to be the case in 2 or 3 months? Like I said before, most likely not. We're going to see probably increased LTVs and the overlays might be coming off sooner than we think.
That's good. Yeah. What else on the DSCR have you seen? I know it's, I think 1 and 1.15 is the minimum cash flow.
Correct.
Is there anything else that's kind of different from the last product that we had?
Yeah, the 1.15 is the big one. It's qualifying on the full payment PITIA. The cash out limits are structured around how much a debt services. So if it's below 50% loan of value, you could add up to another $100,000 cash in hand. If you're below 50 LTV, then you're capped at 150K cash in hand. Okay. So there's little specific overlays that are in the current program now. But the big one is the 1.15 DSCR, I would say. Yeah.
So you can do cash out and you can do interest only, right?
Yes, you could do IO. There's a 30-year fixed product and a 30-year fixed IO product, which I know, as you mentioned, we're hopefully adding possibly a 40-year IO.
40-year, that'd be awesome, yeah.
Right, which would help the payment.
On the tarmac, but it's not taken off yet.
Yeah.
But that's certainly something that we want to bring back is the 40-year fix with the 10-year IO.
Right, and the fact that brokers could offer this program again to their clients, that's not hard money. That's not points and on top of origination. And, the rates, like I said, the max rate is 6.5 still.
Yeah.
So
I think I saw one price out of 4.875 on a DSCR. I don't think it was interest only, but it was still at smoking rates.
Yeah, and especially because a month ago you were doing hard money at 10% or whatever that was. So,
right. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Origination idea is to go talk to some hard money people, see if you can get some of those referrals, get them out of those 10% rates, maybe even do some title company lists, and get those high interest rates and call on those people and offer them this, especially if the LTVs are low, right? And
exactly.
What's the max loan amount on the DSCR?
I think it's $2 million.
That's awesome.
Right.
And that's also another thing is like, we're a super jumbo lender.
Right.
It's the $1 million mortgage experience. At least we can go to $2 million, and we're trying to go higher, and that's going to come as time goes on. So keep checking back with that for the product. What about one of the things that I always loved? One of the products was asset depletion or utilization. Let's talk about that. What are like the top 3 things that are different or the same on that?
One big thing is with one of our options, option 3, is you could add your asset accounts to your bank statement income.
Oh, yeah.
So you could do a combination of bank statement income plus asset income.
That's huge.
Which is huge because a lot of people were, especially self-employed borrowers, were maybe missing that mark on their actual business income, but maybe had $1 million in stock portfolio, what have you, we could still add that back in.
That's cute.
Starting
That's awesome.
from now, day one. Asset depletion is very aggressive still. It's still divided by 84 months for us, which was what we were doing before this happened, which turns out to be quite a significant add-on to your already monthly income.
Right.
And the percentages are if not right where they were before, but you actually get more. Like for a 401k, I think you get like up to 80% now.
Nice.
That's one of my favorite programs that didn't really change much, and that will really benefit. I think that could benefit a lot of people, starting from day one.
So doing a quick example. So if someone's wants to buy a $2 million house, and they got to put down how much you have to put down on the asset utilization?
You have to put down 35%.
Okay, so quick math is, what is that, 1.5-ish,
right?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not. Anyway, so 1.5, let's just say, and then if they have, we can do some math real quick, but you just divide it by 84. So if they have $2 million in the bank or $1 million in the bank, you just divide that by 84. Then you put that on your 1003 as income, and then.
Yeah. So I'll do it on my phone real quick.
Yeah.
So let's say you have $1 million in a cash portfolio. Divide that by 84 months, and you're adding $11,900 to your monthly income on top of your bank statement income. I know the Fannie Mae guideline is 1 million divided by 360, and then take another percentage of 70%, which equals to about like $2,000. So you're talking about $9,000 difference for income.
That's a huge plus in qualifying someone. Plus, if someone has that much cash, their ability to repay is definitely there. So
yeah.
What about you? I don't know if we dove into the bank statements. Like you can do business bank statements and personal, right?
Exactly.
And then I think there was something where you can combine different bank accounts, right?
Yeah, you can, and that's one of the things that also surprised me was the flexibility of the bank statement income, and how it came back in terms of it says you could commingle, which means you could use personal or business. A lot of self-employed borrowers don't have just one account that they just consistently deposit their business income for, nor do they take out their expenses just out of the one account. So you could still blend your statements together. The expense factor is another thing that surprised me. I thought it was going to be really heavy, but we have a couple different options. A flat 50%. We have a tiered option based if you're a service or product. And then we can still go back to your CPA or your tax preparer or your licensed professional and say, hey, John, what's your actual expense factor if it's reasonable? If it's 30%, if it's 35%, if it's 47%. Sometimes 50 doesn't make sense. So this gives you another avenue to see more income than you used to.
Yep.
Which is a game changer. Like I said, a couple of years ago, it used to be just one way, personal bank statements. It's the only way you could do it. And then once the expense factors came out, it was 50% or it was 80%. Or it's a game. It's a difference now that you have so many options from the beginning. So it's almost like everybody just took a summer break from NonQM.
Yeah. Speaking of that, the brokers that are calling you right now, are they? I'm sure a lot of them are just super busy with agency stuff, govy stuff. What's kind of some of the questions people have? Are they nervous about getting back into NonQM? Have you heard any of that? I don't know, I don't know if I'm going to do this because then you might just take the program away, or is there any of that, or is it people pretty just stoked to have NonQM back?
My top guy, he said, 2 years ago he was fully vested in NonQM. Now he has a good mixture of realtor business plus conventional plus NonQM. So he's definitely not nervous about the products coming back. He was like, you know what, I've been in this before. I'm gonna be in it, for the future. It's just about getting that book restarted. Yeah. And I think a lot of loan officers are busy with their conforming conventional, their govy stuff, that all it's going to take is for them to turn the faucet back on and say, all right, we're back with bank statements. Here's our pool of what we could do. Here's our toolbox. Let me go find certain customers to sell certain things to.
Well, there's got to be a little bit of, I've had all these loans that I couldn't do, and I just sort of set them aside, waiting for hopefully the day NonQM came back, and then I'm just going to work on these agency and government loans. And then, but now the word's getting out, and people are, finding out that these products are back. So basically, they just got to go back and, open up some files. And I'm acting like it's like the old days. But no, it's, email some of your clients, text them, say, you know, I can get you a great rate on non-QM, and I think the awareness just needs to get out there, right? I mean, we're doing everything we can. I know you're calling brokers, right? So during the dark period, which was the last few months when there was no non-QM really, were you still getting calls from brokers asking about non-QM, and were they asking like, hey, call me right when it comes back, or what was that like?
Yeah, absolutely. I got calls, you know, daily for sure, in terms of, you know, what products do you have? What are you working on? What's coming? And when are you launching it? So I had a whole folder in my email box, you know, people to contact as soon as we relaunched certain products. So that was one of the things, is, you know, getting information back to the broker in terms of what we can offer now. Had a lot of phone calls this week of certain program specifics, certain overlays that they need to watch out for. It's all about communication and being able to know your product, which I've always, you know, tried to do my best of, because if you don't know your product, what are you trying to sell? But and I think, you know, I have full belief in the broker business. Once you give them a tool, they're going to go sell it. You know, they're going to add, you know, any smart broker will add it to their toolbox, and conforming, conventional, you know, realtors, non-QM, you know, you should have it all. You know, why wouldn't
Especially
you?
right now with all the real estate activity that's sort of, I feel like it's surging. Like there's a bunch of demand, people coming out of this lockdown thinking, you know, I don't want to be, you know, stuck in a place that has no backyard, or I don't want to be ever again stuck in a place that doesn't have a pool, or, you know, or something that's two bedroom and I've got 3 kids, you know. So I think people are looking like, I got to get out, you know, or they're like, I'm happy here, but maybe they're going through divorce. So I know there's a lot of business that's coming, and there's going to be a huge need for non-QM. I think realtors, it's going to be hard maybe for some realtors that went through the fallout of the non-QM, because they were like, you know, what I'm curious is when someone gets a pre-approval letter and it doesn't say Wells Fargo or Citi or Chase, if it says like, you know, John Maddux Mortgage or whatever, right? And it doesn't say like, and if it says like, but it'll say 30-year fixed at least, you know? So you maybe leave out the rate on your pre-approval letter or something and just say 30-year fixed unlocked. And then, you know, the realtor may at that point not even ask, is it a non-QM loan? You know, I think also realtors might be a little nervous about any kind of jumbo loans right now, because there was a big fallout of jumbo. But I think the key is going to be, you know, just getting people to trust again that we're funding them, you know, we can get these things done quickly. One good thing is right now, you know, pipeline's not extremely full yet. You know, we know it's coming. If you have non-QM loans, send them in, you know, get in there early. One awesome thing also is we got Jerry Tubbs back, which I'm fired up about. Huge because if you want to, I know some of your brokers probably talked to him to structure deals in the past and stuff like that, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. About, you know, if the deal didn't work, how can we format it into one of our other programs? And having his mind back, you know, he's already influenced so many files already in the last couple of days that it's a huge add for any company, and so we're lucky to have him here at FundLoans.
For sure. Let's see, so we have DSCR, bank statements, business and personal asset utilization, and a full doc loan product. Anything else on the COVID stuff? So like if someone was you touched on the forbearance, and then back to work. Do we talk about that? Someone's, you know, how long do you have to be back to work?
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily say, you know, back to work in terms of the overlays. They are asking for, you know, different things on written VOEs or your most recent pay stub, your bank statement showing your most recent, you know, direct deposit. There's just a couple little tweaks, but for people who are W-2'd, if you're self-employed, it could be as easy as showing your most recent contract and your debit, you know, into your bank account. Yeah, exactly. So it's nothing that's too strenuous that, you know, I would have imagined it would be way more strenuous than what it is, especially with everything going on in the news and what you hear. But you know, it's coming back in full force. You know, people wouldn't be lending if it wasn't a safe avenue. So I think what's coming out now has been tested, has been cleared, and is pretty exciting to be able to offer those products.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So like, what about Jumbo Prime? That's the kind of the hot kind of secret, not secret, but like unspoken topic that I think a lot of people are looking for is Jumbo Prime. A lot of places stopped doing it. We're excited to bring it back. At Monday, probably the Monday right after this is airing. I think if we can air this Friday, we'll at least be back with pricing. What do you have any idea on on rough matrix, like what's the max loan amount, stuff like that?
Yeah, so what I've been reading, it's up to 3 million loan amounts, 80 LTV for purchase refi. I think it's 75 for cash out. We're looking at owner occupied second homes. That's the hot ticket for me as well. Non-QM, that jumbo A product I really never used to push or market as much, to be quite honest with you, because I've been focused on 100% non-QM the last 2 years. But when Quicken Loans and other competitors, or not competitors, but Quicken Loans stopped doing their jumbo, or another company stopped doing their jumbo, this tool came up, for us out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it's an opportunity, right?
Yeah, I'm really excited to be able to offer this product as well with the non-QM stuff. Be that one-stop shop for our brokers. We offer your, super prime jumbo product, offer your non-QM jumbo product, and it's just another tool for AEs and the company and our broker relationships just to grow further and further.
That's huge. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really great funnel, right? So if you submit a jumbo prime and as a loan officer, you don't always know every single thing about your borrower. Like you think you do, but I hate to say it, but sometimes they say buyers are liars and broke. It's one of those things, and it's like you don't. Sometimes maybe they left it out because they thought then that would help them qualify, or and then you find out they've got child support or alimony or whatever it is.
Yeah, that BK 6 years ago instead of 7. Yeah,
something and they just maybe they didn't mean to tell they didn't mean to lie, or they didn't really lie. They just just didn't remember, whatever it is. But I remember there's times like that throughout my career where that would come up, and you'd be like, then you have to resubmit the loan to a subprime back in the day, subprime lender or something. But with this, you get the loan in, and then if one of those things happens, you just move it over to non-QM.
Exactly. Same lender.
Same appraisal, same title, everything's right there. Instead of, and I think our goal was always to not have to deny a loan. We just want to counter offer with a different product or something like that. Yeah. So we're excited about offering that product. I'm excited that you're excited.
You were saying the rates are going to be very competitive.
Yeah, very competitive from what I've seen. Of course, the pricing as far as how much lender paid you can get, that's up for debate, I think, right now. But there will be some juice in there for some some lender paid stuff at some point. But Monday, I think that's coming Monday, so we'll see, and hopefully we're right. But if not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that.
Yeah, that's great, man.
For sure. All right. Anything else you want to add? Like any advice or tips for our brokers, when kind of approaching the non-QM again 2.0? What to expect, I guess?
Yeah, I think borrowers are going to be as hungry for information now more than ever. Yeah. When there's so many different avenues to find news or find information about whatever you could be searching for. If a broker or loan officer could be that key model in their life saying, hey, here's your information about the loan, about what I recommend, about everything around maybe your house where you're looking to purchase. If you could be the subject matter expert in what you do, and that will be such a kind of relaxed moment for the borrower, because there's so many things going on in the world, Yep. And if they could just not have to worry about their loan or their future loan or their dream house or the process about getting the loan, if you could just keep them up to date, stay informed, give them the best possible options, this is the time I think you win relationships for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. Yeah, because there's gonna be a lot of fallout right now. That's what I would do if I was in the loan officer chair. I would be going to look for the fallout, the banks that aren't doing interest only anymore, the banks that aren't doing loan amounts up to $2 million, or they've just decided we're not going to do it. We're gonna be stuck at $1 million or $1.5 million, and then realtors too. I mean, just letting them know, and letting other private money people, anyone else that out there that you think might have a restricted box, you could go and offer your products to our products. But now you have these products, so I think that's what I would do, sitting in the loan officer chair. Obviously, if you're super busy with government and all that, you do it and get make hay while the sun is shining. But also because like what you just said, to foster those relationships, those referral relationships, it's huge to be able to say, I have this product and I can help your other customers, even, like you said, these customers are super hungry to know, when's this coming back? When can I get a loan? I know of some borrowers that had to get private money just to buy a house, and they're paying 10%, 11%,
Right.
just, and just waiting because they thought the product would come back. They're self-employed. So like private money lists or private money lenders are a great source for new business, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So like with this whole COVID thing, it's insane about obviously the no one could go into houses. The whole real estate market in general just sort of halted for a little bit. There was some business being done, but I think, appraisers were afraid to go into houses somewhat, rightfully so. And then there was a product that just sort of disappeared all of a sudden. Even like big firms like UWM stopped doing certain kind of loans. Everything kind of froze up. I think overall the real estate market sort of just took a pause, like a break, and as well. But I'm seeing, just from some reports on CNBC and things like that, that the housing market is starting to uptick, and there's a lot of activity. There's a good amount of, not in some of these bad areas, obviously, that are getting hit right now with the protests and the riots, but I think there's some real positive, outlook on real estate in general in the market, because I think hopefully people, realize they need to, they probably need to move, right? And like, so what are your thoughts on just overall in general the market, like kind of where it's headed?
Yeah, I think buyers are gonna want to come out in mass quantities, and like for me, like you touched upon this a little bit earlier, bigger backyard, maybe an extra bedroom. I think the appetite for some of the bigger space stuff is going to rise, and in California that's going to cost a pretty penny. So I think people are already planning their next move, because being inside your home for 2 months, you're just planning on what's out there for the future. So I think where the market was a couple months ago, obviously in a negative way, but coming back out of it so quickly is giving everybody positivity. Buyers, loan officers, lenders. So it was just, like I said, a summer break, but I think it's going to uptick pretty strong.
Yeah, and I think from people I know that have listed homes, they're like, it's sold right away at market price, and we could only show qualified borrowers because of the COVID, so they didn't want just random people walking through the house, so they had to set appointments and things like that. Right. So it's it's a different time, but people are doing what they have to make it work. They're changing their business models a little bit, and I think the summer is going to be huge. I think we're now in June. It's early June, and we got July ahead, August ahead, even September for a lot of real estate stuff to move. So right now is the time to get this product in your tool belt so you can offer it and get these realtors happy and these borrowers happy. So
yeah, I wonder if there's like a graph of like when you could chart Airbnb bookings, if like the most recent like week or 2 weeks have been like seeing like a dramatic increase.
Yeah,
because I know my buddies have booked Airbnbs in Dallas and Austin. I'm going to
Florida.
Palm Desert for 4th of July. So I think as time goes on, time heals, data heals, and I think everybody's looking towards that next real estate investment purchase, rental property,
right.
Because that's always one of those common stability things. It might take a downturn for a brief moment, but it's going to go up continuously.
Yeah, one of the things that I saw happen right when this came down, I think it was in March, ton of Airbnb properties went on Craigslist for like month-to-month rentals or 6-month rental, or even annual rentals. If those didn't get picked up during that process, they're probably pulling them all off. Like, right. Just kidding. Let's put them back on Airbnb, because that's where the money's made, right? And let's talk about that real quick. So on the DSCR, Airbnb income is okay, right?
So there's a couple different overlays for the DSCR refinance. I believe for the short term, for the immediate short term rental, it's now still a little halted because it's too soon to tell what the data is looking like.
Right.
But for the longer, you need 12-month history for Airbnb.
Okay.
So that it's for the immediate short term that's still being affected. But if you have a year's worth of data, then you're still looking good because it's almost like a long term rental. So.
That's good. Yeah. Some areas never really took Airbnb off, I think, and but a lot of them did. A lot of the places where people like to go, right? You know, some of the ski resort probably areas didn't ever stop, like like Utah maybe or Montana, Wyoming, stuff like that. Hawaii did though. I think there was a little bit of issues in Hawaii, but
because you had to fly there.
Yeah.
The whole flight thing. Yeah.
Right, and quarantine for 14 days.
Right.
Glad that's over.
Yes.
Well, hopefully for good, but we'll see. All right, another thing is getting approved with fund loans. I mean, sometimes it's a bear to get approved with people, but tell us real quick the process of getting approved with the fund loans.
Yeah, it's been a common question, and with the releasing of new products, how can we get approved with fund loans? How can we offer these bank statement products? Our process is very easy. Our broker approval team issues an approval within 24 hours. Your account executive will send you the broker package. It's a PDF fillable document. So I think it's about 27 pages, but mostly it's just attorney verbiage.
Right.
But for the most part, it's very easy. We have a very simple process. We issue you a login. When you get approved, we get you approval letter. And that's one of those things that's been consistent as a positive line for fund loans.
Awesome. Yeah. So if you have a live loan, send it in, get with Alex or one of your AEs. And if you don't have an AE yet, this guy's good. So send in your scenario, you get a rate quote, and then get that packet. We'll get that package to you and so on and so forth. And before you know it, you'll be cranking. All right, so there might be some hesitancy about non-QM in 2020, right? Like, is non-QM safe in 2020? Because it got taken away. There's people even out there saying, like, non-QM shouldn't exist, all this stuff. But what say you is non-QM safe in 2020?
Yeah, great question. I think non-QM is very safe. A lot of things that we were going to touch upon in this podcast, but June 1st, we launched 5 new non-QM products. We have full guidelines, full matrices, full rate sheets, rates starting from 3.99 to 6.5. It's truly back, it's truly safe, and it's ready to rock and roll.
So it's safe, but like, is it too restrictive? Like, is there no one going to qualify, or is it kind of a little wider? Like, is it? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, it's wider than I thought it was going to be when it came back. You could still do a DSCR to 65% purchase.
Right.
You could still do cash out on all of our programs, bank statement, full doc, DSCR.
Asset depletion, mix and match with the bank statement.
You could do cash out for asset depletion. Very aggressive guidelines for qualifying as well. It's definitely meant for your borrower to qualify for a loan versus trying to keep them out. There are overlays, but it's very reasonable.
Right.
And I think as time continues, this is a good indicator of how quickly it's going to come back in full strength.
Right. So there's not like 90% LTV yet, which is, I never really loved 90, but I mean, it got the job done, got people into their houses, self-employed borrowers. But I think, that's going to, I think we're at 75 right now for a purchase. Which is, better than others out there and some, and, some it's a little less than others, but I know the LTV is going to gradually grow and get to 80. And I think 80 is a really great spot for people to purchase. But, and as we go on 85 and, we'll see if 90 comes back, but.
Right. And for we launched this product on June 1st.
Yeah.
We've already had, maybe 1 or 2 updates. So this is going to be changing in a positive way. We're kind of started from here. We're going to keep on going up here, we're going to keep on learning from what, this paper performs, and it's going to continue to perform. So that's why I think it's very safe. And when it comes back, it's still going to continue to perform.
Absolutely. Okay, so for the more affluent borrowers, the ones that have complex income and stuff like that, DTI has been pretty strict over the last several months. Where are we at on our new products as far as DTIs go? Whether it's full doc, bank statements, asset utilization, DSCR, stuff like that.
Yeah, so across the programs, you could go up to 50% Backend DTI.
Okay.
Whether you're full doc, whether you're bank statement, whether you're blended with bank statement and asset depletion.
Okay.
You can go up to 50, which is great.
Yeah, that makes it a little easier to qualify. And anything else, like as far as can you exclude certain payments and things like that? Like I think before we could exclude cars if the business paid for it, or we could exclude kind of, that's pretty general stuff, right?
Yeah, it follows the same guidelines as a couple months ago. So you can exclude it if you could prove that your business is paying for it, or if you're not liable for that liability if your mom has showed record of paying for it or what have you.
Makes sense.
Which is good. It's definitely not as strict as perhaps it was once before. That's why I kind of just think it picked up where it left off, which is great for us. And the big thing for me, especially for bank statements, is the fact that you could have multiple bank accounts.
Right. Because when you own a business, often you have multiple. We have multiple here, so makes sense. I mean, you might have one for one part of your business. If you have retail, wholesale, if you have like if you're a hairdresser, you might have, or a salon, you might have one for your your shop where you're selling all the different products, and then you have one for the hairdressers that are doing their stuff. And so you might have a lot of different bank accounts, and that matters. Some non-QM, I remember in the past, it was like you can only have one bank statement. That was it. And this is, you can blend multiple. You just can't have transfers between, right? Like the same money can't be going back and forth, and you can't double count it.
Exactly.
That's good.
Yeah, and if DTI is still an issue, you could always add a non-occupant co-borrower with our guidelines. It's a 5% LTV reduction, but there's no, the occupant needs to make a X amount of dollars. There's no blended ratio minimum or maximum, which is great. You could add on anybody as a non-occupant co-borrower, and you can meet ratios that way.
That's great.
You could still take gift funds. Gift funds were the same as they were before, so that didn't go away. So if it's 75% LTV purchase, you need 15% gift. If you need all the gift, you can do that as well. So that's a big one that's going to be a common question for your brokers and your borrowers.
What about property types and unique kind of properties? Anything different on that, or?
The main difference is the flexibility on non-warrantable condos, but non-warrantable condos were always kind of iffy. But we can still do, multi-units, still do condos, still do high-rise condos, SFRs, of course, PUDs, townhomes. There's really no restriction on property type, up to 20 acres. It could be agricultural, depending on where it is in the country, but check with your AE. So.
What about loans to one borrower? Like if you have 8 properties, 10 properties, 20 what restrictions do you know off the top of your head?
20 finance properties,
Nice.
Which is a lot. And it's just like it was before, which is great. And you can still have up to $5 million for one borrower. So if you need to do multiple loans, you can still do that. So the overall threshold for finance properties is still pretty high.
That's great. Lots of good stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. If you guys are looking for more content like this, we have a FundLoans YouTube channel where we give away more tips, secrets, and origination ideas. You can also email us at info@fundloans.com. And if you've made it this far, I think it's safe to say you like our content. So please subscribe, share, and send us your scenarios. Let's fund loans together.